Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rise Up Market Watch. We have a special guest tonight. Really looking forward to getting into it. And there's the surprise sheet. I still need to ask Keith why that sheet is there, but I will question it every single time I hear it and refuse to follow up with him because I will forget. How you doing, Doug?
I almost don't want to know. I almost don't want to know.
I like to know. You know?
You do? Yeah.
Mystery.
But what if you found out it was like, what if it was a mistake?
Keep your secrets.
It was
I enjoy it. Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm tired. It's been a long day. It's been one of the longer Mondays in a while with just in general work. I feel like I've put all my brain power out on the table already. So like just it's my safe harbor statement going in tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Right. Well, hey, I'm already seeing requests from Apple user 36484420. Can we get some TA on Aster? We can absolutely do some TA on Aster later. Just stay tuned. Because first of all, we have some pretty exciting things happening on the chart for Bitcoin today, riding off of the news that basically 5 altcoin ETFs are about to be approved by the SEC. Because Doug, did you see this news about the 19B4?
No, I saw your tweet. That was I'm like, I registered that. I'm like, noted. I have not followed up or looked at anything else besides that. So yes.
So the news that happened today. Oh, and also AI. I see other requests. We'll do Ethereum. We'll do Solana. We'll do a whole bunch of charts tonight. So the big news that came out. Ski's coming. Everyone, I see those questions too. But the big news that came out was that the SEC told. I have to remember all of them. The Solana ETF issuers, XRP, Litecoin, Doge, and Cardano ETF issuers that they no longer had to submit their 19B4 filings. And as a result, that now means that those are all very likely ETFs to be pre-approved according to the SEC's new guidelines that were changed last week. So as a result, real quickly, before we bring up our guest, I'm going to quickly show our charts here. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we had this yellow block really that was ranging up as high as about $113.4 thousand, 113.5 as a stiff area of resistance. And actually, let me show this more clearly here on the daily time frame, because this is where our 12-day, our 21-day, our 55-day exponential moving averages were all lining up. We also had some liquidation heat map zones further down. There's a bearish gap down at $111,000, but that news came out, Bitcoin ripped upwards. And our bull case scenario was if we can get a daily candle close above these key exponential moving averages, above 113.5K, we have a bull case scenario. And maybe it could play out something like this, working its way through resistances, turning this top line of resistance into support. Maybe we can have a blast off here. So now we're pretty much just waiting to see if the market can hold this area as support and use it as a trampoline to move upwards. So that is where we currently are on the Bitcoin market right now, okay? Now, I would like to bring up our guest. You know him as Yaboyskey. Some people know him as the master bottom feeler. He is our friend Yaboyskey here. How you doing, man?
What is up? What is up? It's Yaboyskey.
Well, dude, how's your weekend been? How you feeling today? How are you looking at these charts? You feeling good? You feeling cautious? You feeling skeptical?
I am feeling 10 out of 10. I'm trying to get there we go.
Your voice for audio, mute yourself on TikTok.
Mute myself on TikTok.
Yes.
Boom. All right. But then will they not be able to hear me on TikTok?
Nope, they can hear you just fine.
All right, cool. Well, I'm feeling really good. So, I put it out that I had the higher low theory, and I was with you as far as 13.5 daily body close. It looks like that we got that. I'm not willing to put the beard bet stamp of approval that the bottom is in just yet, but I'm as close as one can possibly be without actually doing it. The big thing that I'm going to be looking at is the Russell 2000. That to me is the decider. Are we going parabolic or into price discovery, or are we going to get rejected? To me, it's one or the other. And the way that sentiment is, the way that the history is in our favor, with October being one of the best performing months for Bitcoin, with November being one of the best performing months for Bitcoin, with all of the pending ETF approval, with retail sentiment just being in the dumps, I'm pretty hype. And I think it's time.
Oof, I like to hear that. I like to hear it's time. And these folks over here on TikTok, though, are claiming that this isn't Yaboyskey. This is AI. Like, this is AI Yaboyskey. We can't see his face.
Oh,
This is all sham.
there we go. There we go.
There he is. There he is, everybody.
You ever watch any of the pump.fun lives with the new tokens? Like that all the meta's kind of dying.
Actually,
So
never watched him.
you're not missing anything. But what's happened a lot of cases in all the chats, the chat will ask the person streaming, like, show me 3 fingers, do 4 fingers, like constantly, because there are versions of them that are AI. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Yaboyskey, you're the honored guest. Do you want to pull up maybe the Russell 2000 to start? Because that has been your kind of leading light here. And we've talked about this offline as well, about how, hey, the Russell 2000's charging upwards. And last week we were talking, hey, the Russell 2000 looks great. The stock market looks great. Gold looks great. Silver looks great. Everything looks great except for crypto. And these two things can't remain unaligned for forever. So something has to break here. And it looks like it could be that it's finally time for Bitcoin and crypto to start to catch up. Because the reverse was a scary one, which is everything else would catch up with crypto and everything was going to slam down.
Right. So here we go. We have the Russell 2000 at the 2024 all-time high, and also simultaneously at the same time at the 2021 all-time high, just slightly above it. Okay. And we know the highest level of resistance from any chart, any asset, any sector, it does not matter, is the previous all-time high. And once you break above that, 9 times out of 10, from my experience, you are going to price discovery. So it's either one of two things. You're going to price discovery or you're getting rejected reaccumulation. And, you know, I know that you're like all the way off of the 4-year cycle. To me, I am, you know, it's a small piece of the puzzle, not the whole piece. But what has always been the guiding light for me is the Russell is super correlated to altcoins, and the Dow Jones is super correlated to Bitcoin. What we historically see is Dow Jones makes an all-time high. Historically, wherever you're at in the 4-year cycle, 45 days after the Dow Jones makes an all-time high, Bitcoin too makes an all-time high. Same thing that we see out of the Russell. And so I have 2 scenarios here, and we talked about it a little bit. Either A, we're going to break out, and I think Bitcoin's going to follow, Ethereum's going to follow, Solana's going to follow, and everything in those ecosystems are going to follow as well. Rising tides floats all ships, or we're going to get rejected, and you know, all of the, you know, the worst fears are true. The way that TA is, though, the way that the vibes are, we're on top of the 20 moving average, and if right here, if we were sitting right here and retail was FOMO 100x long time, I would be very worried. That is not the sentiment that I am getting. I would love to hear your guys' perspective, but I'm seeing a lot of caution. I'm seeing a lot of fear. I'm seeing a lot of, this is it. We got duped. Alt season is canceled. All of the above. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, but that is my perspective on TikTok, crypto, and also X crypto as well.
Yeah, and what I'll say is, just in case someone was wondering why we're looking at the Russell 2000, first off, if you don't know what that is essentially the S&P 500, but smaller, right? It's, if you're really just a cryptocurrency trader, it's the altcoin market to Bitcoin, whereas the Russell 2000 are the altcoins and the S&P 500 is Bitcoin, right? That's essentially it. And so if we're seeing the Russell 2000 at all-time highs, potentially about to break that and showing strength, that means that we're in a risk-on environment, baby. Combine that with rate cuts and a whole bunch of stuff, things look pretty good. But in my comment section, I have seen people be really cautious. Like, it's not FOMO. It's not like, oh, why would anybody de-risk right now? It's just like, hey, like I've de-risked. Hey, I sold some just in case. Hey, I sold everything. Hey, if you're buying now, like, you're stupid. What are you talking about? Top in.
Should I sell now and buy back lower?
Yes. Another very, very common thing. And some people in our Rise Up community, luckily, they've been kind of like, a lot of folks have been selling along the way. And so they're just been like, hey, this is a great opportunity. I've had this bag of stable coins that has been earning interest on shit like Morpho and stuff, which is great. But like, I want to put it back in the market. Now I finally can. I'm like, ooh, yes, good. Good job, everybody. Well played. But no, that's it. Like, to your point, if you're at an all-time high, you're testing that double top or triple top, and you see people screaming Lambo and screaming like we're all about to have our yachts and have our cake and eat it too, then it's probably the end. Probably then right there, baby. But that's not the case right now. So it seems like sentiment-wise, it still seems like we have more to go. So, I was very happy to see us get above 113.5K on Bitcoin today, because that was my scenario. Doug, what's been your finger on the pulse of the market here?
So I'm as of like last night, I was like, okay, this looks like a time we have to long-term things, because the Sunday vibes were much more positive than the past. I'm still, to your, I think it's common sentiment here, is that I'm still prepared for if there's a move down, but I'm not absolutely saying I'm absolutely waiting for it at this point. Right. So if there is a move down, I think up only for right now, but I can't. But with the government shutdown coming and things like that, I'm not here to say one direction or not. I'm just saying I'm feeling the vibes and I'm ready to go, whatever way we choose. That's what, in the short term at least. One thing I do want to call out is that I think and I'm putting retail as, let's just say, because we're all retail in general for the most part, but let's say early retail. Let's say, I've only been in crypto less than 12 months. I think that cohort for the most part is actually tired and spent, but at the same time aren't primary drivers of bigger next moves. I think the next moves coming from folks who have been more sidelined in cryptos. For example, I have a couple of alpha groups that have been there for years, like 4 or 5 years. And there are folks names showing up I haven't seen in like 2-3 years pop up, because other narratives starting to pop up that are bigger, like your Asters of the world, like your oh my gosh, I want to say TPL. I keep going back and forth with the acronyms, but things that are attracting bigger DeFi folks back to the market. And I think that's the liquidity that's been missing, because everyone's been just trading shitcoins back and forth and losing money on a daily basis. So all good. I think I'm all positive, but I'm prepared for whatever this week gives us, considering it's the end of the month tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So Doug, I'm curious then, because I really want to have you introduce your indicator for Solana to Yaboyskey, because Evan and I have talked about it to him. So Ski, Evan and I have mentioned to you that we have a friend who has shown that Fartcoin is an indicator of what will happen to Solana, and it is right more often than it is wrong. And Doug, I would just love to have you walk Yaboyskey, his audience, and the folks here that are in the live through that indicator. And I'm also very curious to see what it's saying for the future.
So yeah, I could do that, but quite honestly, I haven't actually looked at it since I had that short open from like, what was that, a week and a half ago? So I gotta find it, because I have horrible management of my
why?
Yeah, well, here it is.
Okay,
so let's do here, hold on, there we go. It's gonna be hard because you can't do the rewind on both sides. You can only do a rewind on one side, but essentially Fartcoin for me since February, March has been like leading guidance for where Sol's going to go. I'm just gonna hide this. So it's almost like it usually is like 15-30 minutes ahead. In this instance, it was like a day ahead. So these boxes, although are not, it kind of sucks, but I can't replay both and explain this. So imagine that Fartcoin's already down here in the yellow box and Solana's up here, but the market structure itself overall, it's essentially the same. I want to say, without actual data to prove it, that 75% of the time or more, especially to the downside, Fartcoin is a leading indicator of where Sol's going to go. And this case was one of the best shorts of the entire year for me, just because I'm like, I have to continue to use the system until it breaks, right? And it worked out perfect. So my reasoning behind it is I think Fartcoin is probably the best embodiment of this entire cycle, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it the cycle from election on, more so January on, that it's just like the fact that it's Fartcoin, it got to 1 billion plus and was, being mentioned outside the orbits of crypto, but also too was Fartcoin. It just kind of gave that vibe that basically is the best embodiment of meme coins entire cycle, outside of like a pump.fund itself. So to me, that's just what I was working with, and since then it's still playing out. And now trying to gauge on the way back up, does Fartcoin kind of give you guidance on the way back up? And I'm more towards the downside, so I won't use Fartcoin going back up, just going down.
Any insight as to what it's saying right now, or
no? I wouldn't even. So I don't care. So as of right now, I'm not looking at. So Sol is stronger than Fartcoin right now. So it's almost just it's more leading indicator down, not up. So I wouldn't use this. to go up because Farcoin has a lot more room to cover to get back up to where it was. But as of right now, I think things look great for the moment.
Okay.
Hey, Will, you got a fake crypto Mason.
Yeah,
spamming
I
you.
made the mistake of muting him instead of muting and blocking. So let me go in here. Yaboyskey, take over. Lead us through something while I go through and clean up this.
Well, I would say to that, what I always say is everything is something, nothing is everything. I think everything we can find, little pieces to the bigger puzzle. That's why, I think like the 4-year cycle, that's a piece to the puzzle. Maybe how oversold we are, maybe retail sentiment, maybe Fartcoin leading Solana. Everything is a piece of the puzzle. Everything is something, but nothing is everything. I would be interested. I heard you mention it a little bit earlier, is like the government shutdowns. I'd be interested to get your take on that because a lot of people were asking me in my comments. For me, I worked in the government for 10 years. It's all smoke, no fire. I would like to hear your take on that, though.
What happened last time? By the way, last time we did get shut down, the markets in general. I don't even remember.
So the last time was 2023. So here's every single time where we have led towards a government shutdown, and they've either kicked the can down the road, and that could be, hey, it's a 45-day or a 90-day extension. Usually it's 45 days. Once the can gets kicked down the road, markets pump. Bitcoin, at the very least, pumps every single time. When there have been actual government shutdowns, there's not that much data. Like throughout all of Bitcoin's history, there have been, I think it's just 2 or 3 actual government shutdowns. So we're not working with a lot of data here, but we have seen Bitcoin go down in all those occasions, but it just goes down for a little bit and then it rallies. Yeah. So, but I would say it's not enough data to really say that Bitcoin is guaranteed to go down if the government shuts down. It's the sample size of data is so small.
Yeah, I just think it's all smoke, no fire. Like I was if the government actually shut down when I was in the Army, we didn't get paid. And it only happened one time ever, and it was for like a week. And I was in for 10 years. So a lot of times they just wait till the last possible minute to, politically campaign whatever thing they're trying to shove in with everything else from my perspective. And then at the buzzer in the wee hours of the night when they're burning the midnight oil, whatever needs to get done gets done.
Yeah, but if the market's gonna dip at that time, it's not gonna be because this really affects the markets. It's gonna be because the market wanted to use this as an excuse to go down and grab some type of liquidity lower down, or to maybe fill that gap at $110,000, $111,000 super quickly, and then I would imagine bounce up. Because overall, and while my bearish updates or my updates daily have been like, I'm bearish unless we get above 113.5K, I have been saying I'm a buyer of this dip because rate cuts are coming, liquidity's on the rise, all that good stuff, right? But Yaboyskey, I'm curious, are there any altcoins that you're looking at more so during this time for potential trade scenarios, things to dollar cost average into? Curious.
Yeah, so people view me, here's a misconception that people have of me as that I am a day trader, in that I'm going to go in and out and make 17 assassinated, little maneuvers in the market. That's not what I do, because I'm always I'm more of an investor, and I do swing trade along the way, but 90% of my portfolio is investing, and I'm looking for value. Okay. But the structures that I'm looking for, and to me, it's less about what is the actual coin doing, or what is the actual coin, and more about, do they have good tokenomics? And I'm looking for the same structure here. And I think a lot of the altcoins that have been around for a little while have this exact same structure again and again and again. And to me, if you can find the structure with good, low to no inflation, I think it's a win. And I think that the risk to reward is very high as far as like, what is the realistic thing that you're risking versus what is the what is the potential reward that we're seeking here. And it just it went away for Bitcoin. Let me get this here. So this is kind of my own little flavor of Wyckoff, because obviously you have to use discretion when you're looking at crypto, because it's not this super institutionalized thing, especially what I'm looking at right here. So on the top, on the bottom, we don't care about the coin. You obviously can see what it is. I don't care about the coin, but what I want to show is the structure of Bitcoin. So this was from 2013 through 2017. And I would make the argument that you can almost pick a dart and throw it at any top 100 coin that was available, or even top 200 coin that was available in 2021. They almost all have this exact same setup, and this to me would be your markup in Wyckoff, and then this would be your distribution. This is a little bit healthier in this particular case. This is a more like traditional distribution. Then you have your markdown, which is what we call a bear market, and you go into accumulation, which is the bottom. And then you have the sign of strength, which marks firmly that the bottom is done. Come back, reaccumulate, move higher than the sign of strength, back test, reaccumulate, and you start to gruel your way higher as Bitcoin was doing over here. And again, same thing, all-time high resistance is very, very strong. We had 3 rejections for Bitcoin, rejection, before finally breaking out and doing so violently. And this is what we call the markup in Wyckoff. And so I'm looking for potential plays that have good tokenomics, aka low to no inflation. And I don't really care what the coin is, to be honest with you, because Fartcoin is $1 billion asset. What does Fartcoin do? You know what I mean? So I'm just looking for right. So I'm looking for the same structure. This is VeChain, but I would make the argument that most of the altcoins have the same setup here. And if my theory is correct, if Bitcoin gets into the 130s and Solana breaks into price discovery and Ethereum breaks into price discovery, I think that we're going to see a lot of these coins at least have a dead cat bounce to the 0.5 on the macro, at least. And there's money to be made in that scenario.
Yeah, it's funny. Those older coins, I've been trying to figure out what that bounce would look like because I don't track them as much anymore, even though like VeChain have special close sits in my heart from a long time ago. But like, I just curious, like how much could be in there if markets start doing stupid things, right? So, but your assessment makes a lot of sense because in the end, at least your dead cat bounce, right, to give you like a what's there, like a 5-7x makes sense. Where a lot of the
dollars
hell yeah. Where a lot of the I think the current mindset is on a lot of the newer tokens. And one thing you said too, I want to call out that you said you don't care what it is, but I appreciate you doing the research to do for the tokenomic side. Like for me, I actually don't care what it is. Like I almost like I don't even care about the symbol as long as the market, the chart looks good, right? And that's kind of where it comes down to. But having the actual underlying knowledge of the tokenomics obviously helps confluence of from the TA side.
Yeah,
right, because go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was just going to say, like, if you're trading, you don't really care about the tokenomics. You don't care about the case. You don't care about if there's an ETF. You don't care. You trade the chart. If you're just a pure trader, if you're an investor, you want to know about the tokenomics. You want to know if there's an ETF. You want to know if there's actual adoption amongst its users. You want to know how much what the revenue is. You want to know these things, right? But Yaboyskey, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, to me, it's the most fundamental thing of investing. Price equals supply plus demand. And I think it's a trap. I've talked about this with Will a little bit, in our podcast. I'm like hypersensitive to tokenomics because I was kind of burned a little bit on the matter. Because in 2022, I was a full-on H barbarian, and I still love H bar. But the market cap, which is despite what the XRP army will tell you and lead you to believe, market cap is the true price. Because what are we measuring? We're measuring the dollars invested, and that's what market cap is. And like H bar is an example of a coin where market cap's at price discovery, price is at the 702. It's at the 1618 for market cap. And it kind of I don't want to say it caught me blind, but it kind of did. Like it was never something that I was anticipating as far as my thesis. And we can see it got all the way. It's still at like near the 1618 for market cap, but the price is at the 702. And to me, this was like, dang it. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to do so much better. And then when this happened and this was revealed to me, I was hypersensitive. And it's like the first thing I always look at as far as trying to figure out what is the ROI. I'm going to do it based off of market cap.
Mm. The thing that made me bullish, on Hedera was meeting the team at ETH Denver, and I was just like, oh, the team at Hedera is kind of badass. Like they were super friendly people, super friendly. Myself and also Alex is friends with one of them and has been for years. Her name's Crystal. She's a delight. And we were talking to the CTO for a while, and we were just having a great time asking questions. And they are like absolute nerd savages. Like they are the type of people that you dream about like having a team for. And I was like, damn, this Hedera team is fucking stacked.
Yeah, for the record, HBAR, it's for me like a big trap that we fall into in the proper bear market. Bitcoin, in my opinion, should be your biggest holding. That's my opinion, because it's the lessons we always learn. It comes down least and it goes up first. The opportunity cost is not worth it being in a bunch of altcoins. Altcoins, though, HBAR, it's going to be one of my bigger plays in the bear market for sure. So,
all right, there you go. And I think for me, the coin that I'm looking to stack the most, I've been buying Bitcoin and Solana every single day, and that will just continue. I'm looking to increase the amount of Ethereum that I have, and I'm still very bullish on Morpho, and I'm very bullish on Pengu. I don't think Pengu is going to have an ETF play behind it for a while, though, even though it has an ETF submitted, but its ETF has NFTs in it. So I think the SEC is going to take a while making a decision on it, or it's going to go back to Luca and in the Igloo parent company and say, hey, like, get these NFTs out of here. Make that its own, a separate ETF. If you want an ETF for Pengu right now in this market, just do Pengu and move on. But I think it taps into the retail mania for meme coins, and it is also a part of a business that actually makes money. It's just like,
which is important.
Yeah, which is important, and it combines two of those things. And I'm very interested in it. So I have a big bag of Pengu, and I'm going to add more to it. But yeah, I think Bitcoin should be everyone's biggest bag if you can have it. If not, I think some safer like top 20 plays are definitely what you should have. But guys, we're at the half hour mark right now. So what I want to do is I want to start taking recommendations from the audience. We already had a couple. We had Aster, we had Solana. So Doug, I'll let you take a crack at Aster first. Yaboyskey, if you want to take a crack at Solana, do that, and I will do a third coin as well.
All right, let's do this.
AOZ was the first one I saw from Habib. So I will start charting AOZ, which is a coin I haven't looked at.
AOZ, AIOZ, is that what it is?
AIOZ, yeah.
It's funny, I never heard it was called AZOZ. That was from last cycle too, right? I remember, yeah.
Yeah, it was from last.
I remember being coined as like the some social media. I want to say it was it wasn't TikTok. How was it marketed to me at the time? It was something to do with decentralized social media. At least that's how it got to me. I have no idea what it is.
Changed though? Didn't AOZ change into?
Probably.
It wasn't an AI coin, but it was like an ISO 20022 coin.
Really?
That's what I thought. I don't remember exactly. Oh no, was it decentralized? No, it was a DePIN coin. It was a DePIN coin.
Whatever flavor we need to be.
Whatever
market cap goes.
Yes, that is the answer.
We will rebrand.
That's the answer.
We'll be the metaverse AI lending protocol meme coin of today. Doug, you're the fastest charter here, so we'll start with.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna jump to 1 minute here. I thought you were going. I got you.
Oh no, it's good to just talk a little bit of shit. And
all right, so I gotta say that. So Aster is, I'm probably the most, I've been following Aster more than any single chart right now out there, just because of the attention that it has. I need to clear off some of the, hold on, I need a fresh chart here, sorry. Aster is better. Oh, wow. No, more, okay. Aster is a beauty. It is the CZ new exchange, or the new DEX perp
new
exchange, which is the hot thing in the market right now, and it's been moving so nice. And even for someone, if you're not trading, you can just watch this market move. It's super interesting because on lower time frames, like you'll see it do things where it's almost like you're expecting something to happen and then it doesn't. It's just a good feel. It's almost like feels like a really big meme with a lot of volume right now because it's so early. So I really like markets that are less than like 30 days old that have significant volume that are making really, really nice shapes. The best way I could say it. But this thing to me, I'm super bullish as long as it holds like $1.70. If it holds $1.70, I think we see the mid twos, and then my target on the low end to start is like $3 to $4. However, this coin obviously has a lot of I'll say noise associated with it, but variables associated with it. So it could do anything at any given time. In a perfect world, I would love to see a pullback deck down to here in some crazy world where it's like $1.50 to, I don't know, $1.30.
Yeah, to fall back.
Would absolutely embrace that with open arms, like anywhere down here like this. without a doubt. But if this does this, stays up here, like it may not come back until later. So for me, it's either start building a position now. I pretty clear invalidation at $1.70. If I start seeing 4-hour closes below there, I would get out for spot. But this to me is a low leverage, short-term trading opportunity and spot accumulate. And also too, other note, if you're using the actual DEX itself, they have an airdrop next week. So it's just based on activity, but this has been
your sell pressure right there.
What's up?
That could be your sell pressure right there that you need to get into that box.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. I don't know what percent of it is on Friday. It says that Saturday coming up. But yeah, I would like to drop down, but as of right now, it's been pretty strong. But so this chart bullish, but cautious, just like anything else at the moment.
Are you? I don't want to play devil's advocate. I don't like advocating for the devil, but are you concerned if you do lose that first bit of support there and you're sort of on that box support? Like, how much support is that before it's like, oh, there's no trading here?
The $1.70, or you're saying down below 1/3, like the lower level?
Right, because I'm just looking like to the left, right, where your box is. There's not that much trading to catch it.
Oh, you're saying down here? You're saying like this?
Yeah, if it were to
great question. So I wouldn't even entertain this until it's already I buy
cleared
strength.
it.
So I want to basically wait to the move, and then so I would like to this move, and then for me, the trigger is right here.
Okay.
Right. So like if for some reason this I won't set limits. I will not try to catch this. It's that I just want to see how far it goes. I would love for it to tap into this area here, because for me, anytime I look at a chart that's early, it's moving on. Anyone who got in here, if I'm thinking from a market maker point of view, you're sitting pretty because you've been chilling up here. So if I'm on the other side of the equation, I want to challenge those individuals who are cocky right now and basically be like, I'm good. It's not coming back down here. And then basically wait for that move, take out those lows, and then look for a trigger to long. But to your point, I think that's where you're for something early like this, and being it's a, I don't call it a CZ special, but there's a lot of things associated with it. Special. But like if it could just die. And at that point, then I don't want to be holding a bag, right? So waiting for the strength to give me clarity of moving up to the next level.
I'm now that you clarified your strength position, I'm with you. That would be the line in the sand for me. If you don't get strength, I think it could be.
Oh yeah. And you're Cold-Blooded Chiller, if you know that name. He's one of the traders that I've followed for 5 years now. Most of my style is from him, is just waiting to buy strength. Like he doesn't even believe in dollar cost averaging. And in a few scenarios, and I could argue back and forth, but for the most part, just waiting for strength, because that's your indicator of the participation and possible move. So
what's your thought on dollar cost averaging, Will?
In general, or for Abster or Aster?
In general.
In general, I feel like it's a good strategy if you find yourself on your back foot. Like if you find that you have bought into a coin that you're like, hey, I've checked all the things. Like this isn't just a position I could trade. This is a position I could be a long-term holder of. Like it's a Solana, it's an Ethereum, it's a Bitcoin. If it's something that I would feel really good about one day, even if I have to go through a 2-year bear market, is gonna make the new high eventually, right? If I feel like I've made a position thinking that it's about to pop upwards and I don't set like a limit sell order or whatever, and it falls, I go, okay, I am now in a longer trade than I want to be unless I'm willing to take the loss. But if I'm not willing to take the loss, I go, okay, now I'm going to now I'm going to dollar cost average here. And you can keep it simple and just say, I'm going to buy once a day or once every 3 days or something, or once a week. And that's it, right? You bring down your average entry point and then you break upwards. What you try to do is try to get to the point where you're like a level 2 DCA. And I think level 2 DCAing is great, because you can look for general bottoms, right? You're not going to time the bottom perfectly, but if you're like, hey, my weekly chart's stochastic RSI is oversold and I'm on a key exponential moving average, like the 55-week EMA or the 200-week EMA, ideally, you're like, okay, I feel really good about dollar cost averaging every single day here now. And I'm really lowering my average point. And I'm really putting myself in a position to get back into profit pretty damn quickly once the market turns around. I think that's a great strategy. I think dollar cost averaging into a coin, though, that isn't making money, that isn't getting adoption, that is, maybe it was the flavor of the month last month, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the flavor of the month ever again. That could potentially be you just putting money into a perpetual loser. So it depends. It depends on the asset you're in. And you can really upgrade your dollar cost average skills. So those are my thoughts on it. Yeah.
I want to clarify my thing too. Sorry, Busker, real quick. Is that my dollar cost average comment is as relates to trades, right? So a trade itself, I'm waiting for the strength. There's something as you described, Will. Those use cases make sense to me, and also someone who's doing, hey, I want to buy X amount every single day forever. I support that altogether. So it's more or less depending on how much attention you want to pay to a thing, and something where it's a short term or medium term type of trade, to not want to be sitting there waiting for something to happen. But if it's a longer term play, I agree with everything you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I was just I was just asking. Well, I wasn't trying to come at Doug or nothing like that. Just question popped into my brain and it had to get out. So my thoughts are, I would consider myself a level 2 dollar cost averager. But it's like what I recommend for myself and my own portfolio is going to be different than, right now we have 218 people watching. Like, how many people are pro traders? How many people are level 2 dollar cost averagers? I'm not sure the answer, but I think for most people, 99%, 97% of people, somewhere in that range, are better off finding fundamental projects, good tokenomics, good team, and just DCAing. I think that most people are better off doing that rather than trying to outsmart the market. Even like the case of like buying Bitcoin. Like, if you would have bought Bitcoin at the absolute top, like you're the worst investor ever, but you just DCA'd $100 a week at 2021 peaks. Like, you're up a double right now, more than a double. And you've significantly outperformed the stock market. And it's like, show me an asset where you're the worst investor ever, and you've outperformed the stock market.
Right.
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's kind of amazing. And that's the thing. Is most people aren't going to become a professional trader. Most people aren't going to be successful at day trading. Most people aren't going to be very successful at swing trading, but most people can be very good investors. So long as you have a long-term horizon and you're investing into projects that have good fundamentals and a lot of potential adoption there. Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. You can make arguments for a few others as well. But like you can't really make arguments against Bitcoin. You could even make arguments against Ethereum and Solana, of course, but those arguments are becoming less and less and less strong as we see more and more adoption, particularly for Ethereum. I mean, hell, we saw Swift make the announcement earlier today. Sorry, XRP holders, I'm sorry. But Swift made the announcement today that they're building a consensus 24/7, blockchain-based solution for 24/7 cross-border payments on Ethereum with 30 financial organizations on it. So that's Ethereum. BlackRock's building on Ethereum. I'm curious to see who all is going to be choosing Solana. I have a damn big hunch it's Fidelity. Fidelity will choose Solana where BlackRock chooses Ethereum, because I live in Boston. Fidelity is headquartered in Boston, and they are at every single Solana Boston event as main headline talkers, and they're always talking about how much they love Solana. They're practicing on a whole bunch of stuff. They also like Avalanche a lot, which is interesting. I was able to talk with the head developer of blockchain development at Fidelity, and he's like, yeah, dude, I mean, there's a whole bunch of great stuff out there. He's like, Solana's awesome. We really like it a lot at Fidelity. Also, I really like Avalanche. And I was like, oh, because you keep seeing more and more announcements about Avalanche too. And I keep meaning to do another deep dive on like why a lot of businesses and traditional organizations are choosing Avalanche over other blockchains, because they have been mentioning that there are advantages to doing so. So I need to do a deep dive into that myself. But let's get back to charting. Speaking of Solana, Yaboyskey, can you give us your thoughts on the Solana chart? And Doug, if you can share that the screen there for TikTok,
Yeah, got you.
I will compare AOS as well.
Yeah, I think simpler is better. I think you gotta, Doug. I think there you go. There we go. Cool. Sometimes I think simpler is better. And realistically, we had a nasty correction here because the Russell had a slight rejection off of the 200, but really, we're still in bullish posture. 200 EMA on the bottom. Then you have the 100. Then you have the 50. Then you have the 20. That's a bull market. And then we've been holding higher highs, higher lows since April. And until that breaks, I'm going to remain a bull. And especially for Bitcoin, until Bitcoin structure breaks, I'm going to remain a bull. And now that Bitcoin has, knock on wood, 13.5 was the number line in the sand for, I think, both of us. to get daily body closes above. Now that we've got this, I think we could see an immediate move to like a dead cat bounce of 229. But like I said, like we talked about at the beginning of the live stream, if Russell breaks into price discovery, I fully expect Solana to break into price discovery as well. And we're talking, macro time frame. We're talking north of $400. Just the way that Solana likes to move, it's probably going to be, or just the way how DGen Solana is, it's probably 420.
It's probably 420.
It's probably 420.
The amount of orders that are going to be set at 420 just for shits and gigs is going to be astronomical.
Yeah. So, I think short term we're looking, 230 dead cat bounce, and then the short term getting into the 270 range would be, show a lot of strength and a continuation that this trend is holding. But long term, in the next, probably quarter or so, I think that, there's a saying in crypto, it's boring until it is not. And when we break into price discovery, the difference between all-time highs and price discovery, everyone always has this feeling that we're going to have this nice transition from bearish into bullish. And we do not do that in crypto. It is bullish, or it is bearish, and like the world is on fire. There may not be crypto. And then next thing you know, we're at all-time highs, and there is no in between. That's my thoughts on that. So there you go.
No, I mean, I think similarly. I've had my eyes on $400 for Solana, and I've had the same thought too. I'm like, it's probably 420.
By the way,
I think 69.
As you guys just said that, I'm realizing I was write down notes to myself of like possible top signals. So if it hits 420 and Elon references the existence of Solana, like at that point, or something that's there, something to say, that's it. Like that's your SNL 2021 moment. Is like get another big move up. I would sell everything.
If you sell the headlines, you will lose. Do the opposite every time.
Trade the news, you will lose. I have a chart. I'll show it.
I know you have a chart. It's amazing.
Real quick.
If you haven't seen Yaboyskey's chart real quick, he has marked the headlines of news that are bearish and the news that is bullish across the entirety of Bitcoin. And it is perfect. If the news comes out and it's bullish, you should be selling like a motherfucker. If it comes out and it's war, it's whatever, it's a defunct exchange, you should be buying.
Like it's almost too perfect. Like literally, Silicon Valley goes to zero. The war in Israel, Bitcoin ETF gets approved. Germany, Mt. Gox selling their Bitcoin. Japan rate cut fiasco. The tariffs. This is going to cause a recession. So that was one thing that I tweeted out. I was like, if you see a scary news, like the bottom's in, I'm betting my beard on it.
I'm betting my beard on it. Is that something that you've done with your community? If you're like, hey, if we get a news headline, it's the opposite, shave my beard.
So that is okay. So maybe I was okay. Let me do one thing before you do your TA. Going back to the news event here, if you could share my screen one time.
Yep.
One time for the one time. Just for fun, throughout the, I'm very intuitive. Like I'm a trader. I look for things, but I think one of my superpowers is, I don't know, maybe it's like trauma that I've been through, the adversity, whatever, like just being in the heat of battle, quite literally, scary moments do not faze me. Okay. And I'm able to recognize it on a macro scale. Sometimes it's a blessing. Sometimes it's a curse. Sometimes it serves me really well. And here is my history as a content creator, and beard bet / hair bet, because when I first started, I was still actually in the army. The first one was November 11th. I said, if we went lower than 15,000, because I'm sure you remember, but everybody and their brother and their mother and their wife's boyfriend was saying that we were going to 12K during that time. And I was like, guess what? We're not going to 12K. And I said, that was the first like shave my head or beard bet that I made. I said, if we go below 15K, I will shave my head. I did the same thing. I had a mustache at the time. I said I would shave my mustache if we went with the Silicon Valley Bank. The war in Israel, I did the same thing. I said I would shave my head, my face, and my cat. The cat was a joke. If we went lower and if we didn't reach 48K, that was that one. And then the Japan rate cut was, I said I would shave my beard. That's why I started growing the beard. I said if we went lower than 49K, daily body close, I will shave my beard. And I said, we're going to reach 80K by Christmas, or I will shave my beard. And I even said the real number is 100K. This is all video evidence. I'm not, I get things wrong, greed can catch me, but fear, I have a pretty good track record with fear. And then the tariffs was the most recent one. I said, we will not go to 72K, because that was what I was seeing everywhere. I said, we're not going to go to 72K before 118, or I'll shave my beard. That was the most recent beard bet, was at 74K, April 7th. I said, I have it pinned actually.
When's the last time you shaved your beard?
January 2024. So
okay, so it's okay. So it's still a thing though. It's a.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go. April 7th, 2025. We will not reach 70K, or I will shave my beard. So there you go.
Well, hey, his introduction stands up, ladies and gentlemen. He is the master bottom feeler. And
right.
it is such a lovely nickname. It truly is.
I'll stop hogging the mic here.
All right. Here is AOS, everybody. Now, I'm going to pull this up on the weekly time frame real quick. And, I always like to get a nice macro view of a coin if I haven't looked at it in a long time. So we have AOS going all the way back to its release in 2021, right at the start of the bear market, right? So this is the weekly chart. And if I just take a look real quick, I just saw, hey, it looks like we have a trend line here. Looks like we have a trend line here just about. And it looks to me like we've had a bearish break of this bottom line of support. And okay, so let's zoom in here on AOS. AOS is currently sitting at 27.28 cents. And it is currently being held down below the 200 simple moving average, which is sitting at 27.82. So we are just below the 200 simple moving average, acting as resistance. So if this weekly candle here closes below the 200 simple moving average, I would believe that AOS is about to keep falling. And if it does fall, it'll fall into this consolidation zone marked here that also it dipped back into in March. This consolidation zone ranges between 21 cents basically and 11 or 12 cents. So that is what I would be thinking immediately at the gate. Now, if I pull up my indicators here and I pull up the Moxie indicator, I can see that momentum is very bearish here, but sometimes this can be like a bottom. If it's starting to round over, things can look solid here. The weekly chart stochastic RSI is dipping into oversold territory. So, we are getting a potential bottom indicator here, kind of, sort of. I would feel much, much, much better if I were really interested, not that I am at all, of building a position in AOS. If AOS fell into this, general price range here, while the weekly chart stochastic RSI was oversold, that would make me feel good about buying it and looking for a potential reversal, or seeing that happen and then waiting for it to make some kind of move of strength before then entering a trade. Right now, things look bearish. Things would become bullish, again, like I said, if AOS can close above what is essentially, let's see here, 27.8 cents, which is where the 200 simple moving average is. And then we're expecting good things for Bitcoin right now with its daily candle close above some key important points. So maybe that'll be enough to lift AOS back upwards into some more bullish territory. As of right now, it looks a little weak. So that's my current take on AOS. Now, we'll take 3 more suggestions. One was Ondo. So somebody wants Ondo, so that's there. So we will take 2 more suggestions over here on the chat. What do you guys want?
Ondo, Condo.
Chainlink and Pengu were the first 2 that came in.
I'll do Link, because I love Link's Wyckoff. That's literally what I teach for Wyckoff, because it's so textbook.
Yo, I'll do.
Doug, which one do you want?
I'll do Ondo. I got some squiggles here for an old chart.
You got some squiggles. Hell yeah, dog.
I saw people asking in the chat, what's the new beard bet? I have 2 active beard bets.
Wait, let us know about the active beard bets. Yes.
So VeChain will reach 10 cents, or I'll shave my beard by the end of the bull market. And Solnick will reach 7.5 cents, or I will shave my beard. So those are the 2 beard bets.
All right. Everybody mark it.
Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendars.
The master bottom feeler.
Sorry, I'm just quickly peeking through some of these if I drew this a bunch of times somewhere else.
All good.
So I got a bunch of them. Hold on, let's zoom out here.
In the meantime, while you pull this up, Yaboyskey, where's the best place for people to find you? We have your Twitter page here. If you guys want to follow Yaboyskey over on Twitter, he is
At Yaboyskey. So that's my last name. That's where the name Ski comes from. When I was in basic training, my drill sergeant called me Ski, and it just stuck. So my last name is Yaboyskey. I'm Polish. So there you go.
That now makes all the sense. He is a winged hussar.
That's right. That's so I'm Polish. That's so it's at Yaboyskey on Twitter, and then at Yaboyskey on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and then my backup TikTok / main TikTok is Skis Crypto. And then I will never message you. So if a Yaboyskey or a Skis Crypto messages you and says, "How's your trading going?" That is not me. That's somebody from Pakistan or Kakistan or Afghanistan, but it is not a ski stand.
It is not a ski stand.
I like the PSA. It's like nice. It's smooth. So Ando, you see my screen?
You can see your screen, and I'll share you on TikTok.
I mean, without even this is a weekly chart. Super easy for me. Like, I can't be bullish on Ando until it's above this gray box. Like, that's it.
What's that gray box at for people in pocket?
I don't know. What's this look like?
I don't know. Fuck you guys in pocket.
$1.07, $1.07, $1.05, give or take. Like, get up here, well, then we'll talk. Like, but as until now, I could see this happening, then this. I would bid, not financial advice. I'm looking for a pullback down here until, like, I don't know, 80, 82 cents down to 75 cents. Like, to put this box here, just like this. Only because I just don't like the current structure. Like, I don't like this here, especially over the top like this, where you see these wicks just every time. This is significant resistance here. So I need more fuel. I would take. Give me this. I mean, kind of like this here. It's almost like an inverse of this on the other side, and then up here. So I would consider potentially adding between, like I said, 82, 85, and 75. I get out under 60, and then down here is a different story, but we don't want to go down here because I think that at that point bull market will be over. So otherwise, to me, I won't care until it's above $1.05. Yeah.
Okay. So $1.05 is the key level.
That's like the trade zone for me.
Doug, I like your simple, I don't know why this is like so profound to me, but it's so simple but so true. It's just like trading strength. Such a simple principle, but sometimes we get so cute in the charts is like we forget the most basic things, and I think that's such a good thing to put out there.
I appreciate that. It's because there's just so much there's so much out there, and it's almost like it's different from last cycle. Last cycle, even was hard then too, like with 3,000 crypto. Now there's 3 million, and obviously most of them are absolute garbage, but just the trying to where you want to dedicate your attention, and depending on, to your point earlier, like your persona, the types of trader, charter, whatever you may be, investor, that would dictate how you basically go about your style, right? And that's kind of, it took me a while to align mine, which is just the simplistic part of it, because otherwise I'll just get lost in analysis forever.
And it's such a beautiful thing, and I get so frustrated by it at times too, because it's like I will look at a chart and I pull up my 3-4 indicators or whatever. I look at 1, 2, 3 different time frames. I'm looking at the candles, I'm looking at the patterns, and I'm like, okay, I figured it out. And meanwhile, Doug's on his 5th chart already. And he's like, oh, which one are you on? Oh, I did that I don't know, forever ago. Anyway, he pulls it up.
That's last episode.
And he has the exact same answer as me. And I'm like, son of a bitch. The thing is I am trying to actually do a little bit more stuff like Doug, because I love the simplicity of it and the speed of it. And like you said, oftentimes we can get a little too cute. We can pull up too many things. We're looking for too many indicators, when at the end of the day, you can get really good when you become experienced at seeing strength, trade the strength.
It's the old adage of do you fear the man that's practiced 10,000 kicks or the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times?
By the way, I think about 8,000 hours. So I'm my 10,000 hour mark at this next year is kind of just in my mind of how I'm okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I kind of just see things now, but it took a while. It's I got the shit kicked out of myself for 2 years straight, making all the mistakes, but eventually it just starts kind of lining up. So, and by the way, I'm wrong many times, right? It's everyone's wrong. It's just but it's just kind of the way you look at it and trying to decide how you want to how to track things, right? That's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
I was utterly wrong in February. That was the last time I was completely in the wrong flavor of the market.
So I got that right. I was wrong on the way back up on April. May I was absolutely wrong there. I was you mean wrong? I was right spot on for 3 months straight, and then basically wrong for 2 months, basically. So,
to be fair to me, I predicted the correct event, and then I was kind of predicting what Trump was going to do, which was the tariffs. and then they delayed it. So it's like, trying to predict what Trump's going to do is that's a whole thing in itself. So that was what I was talking.
It was April. I was really wrong in April. I was trying to get better at Elliott wave theory, and I was like, this looks so clear to me. And I was thinking because of like certain narrative effects with like tariffs and stuff, and whatever else was happening in April. I was like, this is so bearish. And then what did the market do? Total opposite. I was wrong for like the entire month of April. It was brutal.
That's how you learn, though. It's like you gotta be wrong sometimes just to learn. That's it.
Yeah, no, 1000%.
Everyone is spamming ICP. I am down to do an overtime to help.
We'll do an overtime for ICP. I also saw some folks on YouTube also with Zcash, Avalanche, and Rose. So I don't want to totally ignore those people. So let's try to do some rapid fire ones here. Right. So Yaboyskey, what was the one that you had lined up next?
I had Link.
That was right. Link. Let's take a look.
Okay, Link is my favorite. It's my favorite coin to trade because it moves very like almost institutionalized. Like, I'll just show this real quick so we can do the rapid fire. This is literally textbook accumulation here. And then like, it's like you go, where in the world did oh my God, I have too many web browsers up. Oh, here we go. Jesus. And then here we go. It's like, this is textbook Wyckoff accumulation, and it does it again and again. Like you go, like it does it within doing it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this is accumulation. This is your sign of strength. This is your back test. So I love trading Link. It's one of my favorite ones to trade. And I just think that we're just back testing the same sign of strength over here. Rejection off of this high. This is going to be resistance until we break it. But also this will be support, just like when we broke it here. Back testing all of this over here as support. So I think, and also what we talked about at the beginning of the live stream, same setup, same structure as Bitcoin in 2013 through 2017. These are the things that I'm looking for. And a lot of these quote dinosaur coins have the exact same setup. And I think it's a beautiful thing. My minimum target is $38. And I think it could go somewhere north of 78 if in the la crazy land. But 38, I think, is a reasonable target for
not 1,000. Not 1,000. I was sold at 1,000 last cycle. I was sold at 1,000. They were wrong.
No.
Hey, if it can get above the Elon SNL appearance,
that's huge.
That'd be huge.
By the way, I'm curious. What is that relative? Do you have the market cap chart? By the way, I appreciate you pulling that up. By the way, because like especially with like a XLM or things like that, having that reference is great. So where is SNL relative on market cap? I'm just curious.
So 22 billion.
All right, 22 billion. Okay,
22.9.
That's pretty equal, I guess, relative to price then.
Yeah, there's a little bit, not too much. If you compare like price, we're kind of at like the 0.5, 618, whereas like the market cap's at the 702, 618. So maybe 1 degree lower of the actual price, but yeah.
Good stuff.
All right, I'm gonna pull up Pengu now. Pengu. So here I have Pengu up on the weekly time frame. And when I take a look at this chart and I pull up some of my indicators here, I want to direct your attention first to the stochastic RSI on the weekly time frame. It's not an oversold territory yet. So I'm not seeing my favorite bottom indicator, which is oversold on the weekly chart, stochastic RSI. And despite the pump today, we didn't get much of a pump, and this weekly candle is still pretty damn red. So I'm of the opinion that I would ideally love to see Pengu actually dip down. And something else that Doug actually started having me look at a little bit more is I don't like this. I don't like how empty this is in terms of price action, throughout the entire history of Pengu, right? This price area between 2.7 cents all the way to this area of consolidation that ended at the end of June at about 15, 16 cents. I think price really wants to come down and start to fill this a little bit and touch this top area of consolidation. I think Pengu wants to turn it into support. The top of that consolidation, this entire range is really between 2.28 cents and 1.75 cents. And I think it really wants to break this 21-week EMA and come down. And if we pull up the daily chart, I also want to direct your attention to the Moxie indicator. For those of you who this may be new, maybe you're a part of Yaboyskey's audience and not mine, you haven't ever seen this Moxie indicator. It's not something you can get for free. You do have to pay for it. It is a measurement of momentum. I have found it to be a much better measurement of momentum than the MACD. And when it is above this white line, the 0, it is bullish. When it is below, it is bearish. And it is very close to actually triggering a short signal here. And so if we wanted to see Pengu react bullishly here, we wanted to see it get into this yellow box where all these key exponential moving averages are, like what Bitcoin did today. Get above it, turn it into support, and start moving up and getting above these areas of resistance. And we're not seeing Pengu react that way like Bitcoin did. In fact, we're not seeing most altcoins react the same way Bitcoin did. It's been a Bitcoin-led rally today, but you've seen a few altcoins pop upwards. Pengu's not one of them. Another thing, too, is if Pengu dips below the 200 exponential moving average, guess what's in this box? It's the 200 simple moving average. And then we would be oversold on the daily chart stochastic RSI. We'd be oversold on the weekly chart stochastic RSI. It would be a bottom indicator for me that I would feel very confident in personally. So I haven't been dollar cost averaging into Pengu in this range here. I am waiting to see if I can get a confirmed bottom to me, and then I'll be dollar cost averaging personally aggressively into Pengu. But I see more selling here. Potentially we could get caught above this box at 2.48, 2.5 cents with the 200 exponential moving averages, potentially. That wouldn't be a half bad place to dollar cost average. But when I look at that weekly chart, I would really love to see this, I'm going to call empty price action zone with price action, show some strength, and then continue to move higher. That's what I see for Pengu.
So with
I would say,
go for it. There you go.
Well, I would say sooner or later, whether it's in the bull market or in the bear market, at some point that gap is going to get filled. That would be my intuition on that. And
Yeah,
for me, I would rather rip the Band-Aid off now.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off now. Hell yeah.
Almost like imagine it's like if you were the market maker on the other side, and like I take this is my digital pencil. It doesn't actually work, but like if you were to draw like where I want the most pain to go, you're like, I'm gonna draw that to go down right into that gap right there to basically force everyone out to move it back up. That's almost like you're making, for the word, inefficiencies in markets and like looking kind of where that is, like where would it make sense to move to make that fuller before a bigger move up. But to your point that it may not be now, but it's inevitable at some point it will get filled without a doubt.
Yeah, and I'd rather have it just be now, personally.
Yeah, Hex is the worst example of like it had this giant gap, and then it finally, after like 3 years, came all the way back and filled that gap out. And it was like, my God, that was brutal.
Dude,
that was the most brutal.
The Hex people give Alex death threats.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because he's just like, hey guys, like, this is a scam. And they were just like, you're a scam, we'll kill you. And he's like, what? He's just like, what? Someone found it on like, they clipped him like talking shit about Hex. It's not even talking shit, it's just like pointing out major flaws of Hex in like TikTok live. And then they clipped it and took it on Twitter, and then like they all found it and they all shared it, and they're like, this guy's the devil. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. Alex just commented here on TikTok, they love me.
They love me. They really love me.
All right, well, let's take a look at Avalanche. Let's take a look at ICP and give us one more coin, guys. So we're going a little bit over, but that's fine because we've been having a good time.
So I got to jump here, Will. I'll do one more, and then I can
one more, and that's it, man.
All right. By the way, so I pulled this Pengu chart, the one I shared actually in the Rise Up community in response to someone's ask that, and just going earlier, this first area of interest, what I was entertaining, but really didn't have any interest in it, thinking about, even though I put this like, hey, where I'm interested in buying, going back to the strength conversation, would have to see this and then something like this to prove that's willing to get back up toward the level that it's lost. So this is irrelevant to me, and I didn't have any bid set. Even looking at this right now, just at a glance, it lines up exactly what you're saying. Well, I think we go down before we go back up, just because this looks kind of sad to me overall, and it's just like this is a wide area, and this is an example where I believe dollar cost averaging makes sense because of the project and overall kind of thesis around it. That you're not going to time the bottom. It's a good time to kind of look through it. So I think that's what was that one. Yeah.
For mine, I'll take Rose because I saw Cole over on YouTube has asked a couple times for Rose, and I saw it come up in TikTok as well. So I will do Rose.
I got ICP.
And Doug, you have Avalanche.
Oh, AVAX.
Is this chat recorded? No.
Yo, when did AVAX get bullish? What happened, dude?
Boring until it's not.
Boring until it's not. Yeah, Avalanche has been doing great. Also, I hopped over into the arena for a stream over there. Dude, there's a ton of people on like Avalanche social media, like on Avalanche streaming. I was like, wow, there's like a lot of people here, and like their version of Twitter. I was like, I was shocked.
Damn, I am impressed because I remember looking at this last week, and this having to recover off of, to flip this level. This is a perfect example of what we were just talking about. Here, it's like this level right here, like this breakdown, like until it got back above. Like I don't care about AVAX. I don't care about AVAX. Now I'll care about AVAX, but this is the proof of strength. Where we broke this here, and now we're retesting. So if AVAX can prove it can hold this $25 level, this is a good spot to dollar cost average in or start to build a position in. And basically down here, no bueno, we'd be out. But this is a really, really nice chart. And I'm glad that this went all the way up here and kind of immediately tapped into this sell-off. At this point, this is October. I would be a buyer of AVAX in the next from now for the next 2 weeks, and to build a position with a clear invalidation of trading below $23, $22, but looking for, 40 to $48 to start. Looks great. I mean, I'm impressed. So kudos.
Textbooks, sign of strength.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice.
I mean, I know you have to dip. So do you want to give a final thought and say goodbye to everybody?
It's been the same for me. I'm going to repeat it, and so almost like repeating to myself too. It's like, remember, October's generally good, so we're going to go with that thesis. So you want to survive to that point in October, whether it be, hey, on Wednesday things get great, or it's that, hey, there's another weird event and there's some nonsense in the markets, we got a surprise to the downside, and it's mid October now. You want to make sure you're not overextended, you're not over leveraged, because if crypto's going to do what we believe crypto's going to do, it's going to be, you're going to want to have liquidity and the ability to kind of move in and out of things, because it'll be much easier than it is right now than it's been. So kind of hoping for that to play out, and just want to make sure you're not getting greedy between now and then. So it's a good time to sit in your hands and just make a plan up and be ready to get out there. So that's it.
Awesome.
Yaboyskey, it was nice meeting you, by the way. We have to,
nice meeting you too.
I follow your lives. I like your setup, by the way. I have lots of questions. So
I appreciate it. Yeah. Right. I dropped a follow on you. I wasn't familiar with your game, but I am now.
Good stuff.
It was good meeting you.
All right, Doug,
I'll see you later, man.
Take care, Will.
All right. Yaboyskey, what coin did you have?
ICP.
That's right. Let's get you on here.
So to me, we're macro higher lows. In the very macro, I'm bullish on this setup here, like super macro. I like the setup. We're well below the 236, decent tokenomics. And the micro, we got to get above the 200. And it's really like Doug was saying, it's really as simple as that. And we can see it's been fighting it basically this entire time. At some point, I think we're going to get above it in the very near future. But that is the big level. And I'm on market cap. I like to do my analysis on market cap and then relay it to price. But to me, daily body closes above about $3 billion market cap would start to put us in that bullish posture. And, the moving averages are getting pretty coiled up here. I do want to see this hold as well, because that to me is when things get a little dicey. If this low over here back in April, if that doesn't hold on market cap especially, that's a true indication of price. Things get a little dicey. I do think that there's plenty of support over here to hold it, and I do expect it to hold, but that's going to be, flipping bullish would be getting above $3 billion market cap. And I have a target of north of $40 for ICP. So that'd be low case would be $20, medium case would be 40, but I want to see us get above 3 billion before, I'm ready to do any of the crazy stuff here. Because you could fight this for a long time. This, it's boring forever.
All right, and then I'll pull up Rose or Oasis, and I haven't had a chance to look at this beforehand, so I'm just pulling up Rose now on the weekly chart. And it looks like it's about as bottomed out as it really could be. I mean, I see nothing really going on for this coin. And for the folks on TikTok, let me chart this real quick, and then I'll share. Let me just see. I mean,
I could probably do it, I guess.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let me just see. We're in a consolidation formation for Rose.
I'm a boomer, so
it breaks to the bear side or the bull side is the question. For those of you who don't know me, I love trading wedges. They are my favorite because it gives me a clear breakout point to the bull side or the bear side if I ever want to be in, if I want to short, if I want to long. Typically don't. I feel bad shorting crypto, so I typically don't. Oh, Yaboyskey, we lost John Tick. There we go. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. So I see rows consolidating in this price range between basically 2 cents and kind of where price is at right now in this wedge. I see on the weekly chart that the Moxie indicator is trying to move to the bull side, but it still has a long ways to go. Now, if I pull up the daily time frame, let's see, what do we have here? I see that we had an attempt to have a bullish breakout. It failed. We broke that back down. We do have a higher low raise right now. Yeah, I don't have a good sense as to what it's going to do right now, but like your key point to get above is essentially 2.8 cents if we were to go up straight upwards. You want to get on top of this triangle, on top of this wedge, turn this into support, and then you could have a decent sized trade to the upside. But right now it's tough because price is being held below the 12, the 21, the 55 exponential moving averages and the 200 simple moving average, right? We're unable to hold these exponential moving averages as support to get us up and out of this wedge. And if we were able to get out of this wedge, I mean, you know, we'd have a pretty sizable move to the upside. You know, we would have, oh, I need to change this. Oh, no, style. Here we go. There we go. Now I can read. That would be a 57% move to the upside you could get if we could get above this line and move upwards and blast above the 200 exponential. But we don't have any confirmation. So that's what you're looking and waiting for. But again, when I look at this chart just over like its lifetime, I mean, I see just like a coin that's not got a whole lot going for it. But, you know, as we said a few times on the show, crypto
boring until it's not.
It's not. So that's that. I don't see any sign of strength right now, but your sign of strength is really getting above basically 2.8 cents.
Yeah, I think it's a prime candidate for that boring until it's not. Personally, oops.
Yeah.
Whoopsies. There we go.
But guys, I think we're going to cut the episode there. So appreciate all the likes, everybody. Appreciate the suggestions. Yaboyskey, do you have any final thoughts? Any things that people should be looking for and waiting for? Confirmation? Anything you want to share with folks for final message?
I would just say, like, the biggest mistake I see people making is getting so overexposed, so over leveraged, to where you can't weather these storms, and you have to think about the market and the apex predator lens, because ultimately that's who's running the show. It's not the traders, it's not the Joes, it's not the Schmoes, it's not the retail, it's the apex predators. And so they're going to cause as much pain as humanly possible, upside and downside. The beatings will continue until morale is improved. Okay. So I am very bullish right now. I am not, however, max out my credit cards bullish. I am not, however, borrow money from my father-in-law bullish. I am not 100x long bullish. So be cautiously bullish in a way that you can weather any sort of storms. And I will never message you first.
Yeah, never. But no, I think that's great advice. And I did see a comment from Rada on YouTube, who's a constant follower of ours. Rada, we did chart Solana, so you can catch the recording of this when we put it up over on YouTube. My final thoughts are, I mean, guys, we have a daily candle close that has flipped me into a point that is pretty bullish as long as we can hold this. And actually, I'll share my screen one more time for Bitcoin because I saw this line on the daily chart for Bitcoin's price. And it's just this, hang on a second, let me get rid of this. It's just this like tan line right here. That was resistance on December 16th. It was resistance again on January 20th. It was resistance again May 23rd. We finally broke above it, held it as support initially on August 1st, broke past down below it August 24th, have been fighting it ever since. And now we have an opportunity once again to try to turn this line that we have been fighting for almost an entire year to finally turn it into support. And because of where we're at with rate cuts, because of where we're at with new ETF products, because of where we're at with new regulations, I think this is the time where we actually have a goddamn good chance of finally getting above this. And one other thing that I want to pull up as well is I thanks to Doug, I really like the 8-hour time frame. And the 8-hour time frame is about to print, probably in the morning, a long signal on our Moxie indicator while we're getting back above this line. We haven't had that before. And that could be the signal to us that Bitcoin is about to continue higher. Now, we do have an event, and the last event is the potential government shutdown on Wednesday. Technically, it's Tuesday night. So do be a little cautious, because if the government shuts down, we don't really have a lot of data to know how the market's really going to react to that. So there is a potential curveball that could be thrown in here. So as Yaboyskey said, be cautiously optimistic right now. That is all of our stances. Don't bet the farm just yet, at least. In fact, actually, don't bet the farm. Just bet money you can lose.
Never bet the farm.
And that's the show tonight, everybody. You can catch myself, Evan, and Alex in the morning show tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yaboyskey, thanks for hopping on, man. It's always fun chatting. We'll get you back on again. Everybody, have a good rest of your evening. Do good things. Be good people. Make a bunch of money.